Hi there, my name is Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks, and tonight I want to talk about why caring counts. But before I do, I'd like to introduce you to Sweet Baby James, who's going to introduce our show.
Yeah, welcome everybody. This is James Maynard, otherwise known as Sweet Baby James, and you've come to Granny Rocks, where we have the opportunity to experience Granny's wit, her wisdom, and her uncommon sense every Wednesday evening, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Time. So without further ado, here's Granny.
So it says we're live, James.
It
Oh, you can
does.
take a look at that. Okay. So my topic is why caring counts. And I want to tell you that usually when I do a show, I've been thinking about the topic. I may not have an outline or anything definitive, but I have some idea of why I'm going to talk about it. But tonight, I really don't know. All I know is that the topic is why caring counts. And so I'm hoping that you help us out here and that you're going to talk about why caring counts to you too. So there you
By
go.
the way, we have a hi from Elizabeth, otherwise
Hello.
known as Lizzie.
Hello. Hi.
Hello,
So happy
hi.
to see you. So, anyway, I want to tell you why I'm talking about this. Not because I have any ideas about to explain why caring counts, but because I had some really remarkable experiences today of people caring. Not just me caring, but other people caring. Like Sweet Baby Jean, you know? And other people who showed me their caring. And I was very touched and moved by that. So I want to talk about why caring counts because I felt it, that it really counted. So I want you to be thinking for a second about why caring counts to you. And it could be caring for a person, caring for an animal, being cared about. Yeah, the whole schmear. So, what do you think of that?
I like it. Oh, and we also have a hi from Luann, otherwise known as Cat.
Excellent, excellent. So, I had an experience tonight of being cared about. I felt that Sweet Baby James, my husband, really cared about me. It didn't last, but it was very powerful and impactful. And I felt so cared about, and it made me feel good inside.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a complicated thing. It was about, we were trying to sell something, and I was caring about him, so I felt we should sell it. And then he was caring about me, so he felt that we shouldn't sell it because really it was important. Um, something that was really important to me. And I felt that it was really important to him. So, okay, I was caring about him, he was caring about me, and we were caring about each other, and it looked like, oh my God, he was caring about me, and that was one solution. And then I was caring about him, and that was another solution. And I'll tell you, it was very confusing. But in the end, we found um, a real caring for one another and a, um, a caring that was happy, that had substance, that was going to work for both of us. And we hope it works for both of us, but if it doesn't, well, we'll find out, won't we? So,
Oh, yes, and we also have a hi from Todd. Hello, Todd.
hello, Todd.
And from Tracy from Arizona.
Oh,
Hello. She sends a heart of love as well.
okay, so Um, and then this was really amazing. We were going to sell something, and somebody was going to make a lot of money on it. And when we came to the place where we decided that it wasn't the right thing, we called him, and he cared. And he said, I care about you. I want this to be for the best. And so we don't know if we can afford it. We don't know if it's going to work. We don't know if James can handle it or I can handle it. But he was so caring.
In spite of the fact that there's a really hot market right now for motorhomes,
yeah,
especially ours, which is a 2020, and he just let caring trump all of that.
That's right.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I'd like to share about my part of it in this. When we decided to sell the motorhome, I had let fear trump caring, because there's a couple of things that I had missed about the motorhome, such as how to fix a gas leak or even turn it off. And we lived in a toxic environment for a couple of days on a trip. And I was horrified and felt that, well, I just can't hack it. I'm too impaired. I can't keep track of these things. I keep getting blindsided or surprised. And I felt it was unsafe. And so out of fear, I felt we should sell it. And Beth, out of caring for me and my well-being with the stress and the anxiety that I was going through, went along with putting it up for sale. But today, when the sale fell through, it gave us an opportunity to reopen the whole topic, and this time caring trumped fear, because I felt such a sense of caring not only for Beth and all the different ways that the motorhome helps her to be out in the world because of her chronic disabilities. She needs those accommodations that the motorhome provides. But also, I need that for her and I to have an experience of being together out there in the world, in the motorhome. So the caring predominated, and now we're keeping the motorhome.
Right. And here I was trying to be so caring and loving and logical and
Practical.
And in my heart, it didn't feel right, because I don't know why it didn't feel right. It just wasn't right. It was caring about each other. And that Carrie, James cared about me. And I felt in that moment that he cared about me more than he cared about himself. And that was the first time ever that I felt that he really cared about me more than himself. He wasn't trying to prove something. He wasn't trying to, be the hero or anything. He really just cared about me. And it was amazing, and I felt so cared about. And then the salesman, he cared about us. He cared about me. He wasn't caring about himself. He wasn't trying to protect himself and protect his ego. So that was really pretty amazing. So I'd like you to think about how caring has really impacted you, whether it was the caring of your parents or the caring of your spouse or your caring about others, that really made a difference. And what difference did it make? It's just a caring that made us feel loved, that made us feel empowered, that made us feel like we were valuable.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, we just received a hello from Lisa. She says, hello, you two. And Lisa is the one that we used our motorhome to go and get our new puppy. She was the breeder of this wonderful Havanese puppy. And so thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Moonbeam, our motorhome.
Yeah. So does anybody have an example? So I have nothing to say about this except that caring counts because it counts on the inside. That regardless of what happens, regardless of how poor we are, or how impaired James is, or how weak I am, or whatever, that I felt cared about. And that just made me feel just fantastic.
I'd like to share too that when I feel cared about, I feel empowered. I feel more solid, more able to take on the world.
Yeah, that's right. And don't you forget that, Gene. Somehow or other, after his breakthrough in caring, he just kind of like lost it, right? And then became like all constricted, and you know, he couldn't care anymore because he was too worried. He was too worried about himself, and yeah.
Yeah, well, a new topic came up with another possible purchase of down the road, whatever, and I said, wait a minute. And I went into contraction.
So what is it that caring does for us? You know, when we were children, if we had parents who cared about us, we felt confident, we felt supported, we felt lifted, uplifted, didn't we?
When that was going on, yeah.
When that was going on. And if we didn't feel cared about, if our parents were arguing with each other in order to get some kind of power over one another, there was no caring. It was about ego. It was about proving. It was about power. And
by the way, we have a couple of comments. Lizzie says, I don't have specific example, though when I feel caring, I feel connected.
Yeah, and that's really important, isn't it?
And we have another comment from Omill, who says, caring gives us security. It's a meaningful sentiment I'd hold on to.
Oh, that is so
Thank
true.
you.
Caring gives us a sense of security, like there's somebody out there who really cares. Now, you know, when we have a politician who gives us the impression that he or she cares, then a lot of people will support that person. But it turns out most of the time that they care only about themselves. You know, that they care about their power, their ego, their votes. And then ultimately we feel betrayed. You know, we know that that was not caring, that was using us to make us feel like we're cared about. And that leaves us with an empty feeling, doesn't it?
It does.
So, you know, there are people who pretend to care, and in the end, we can see that they don't. That they're only caring about themselves, and that makes us very, very depressed. And sometimes there are people who really do have a sense of caring, and we really feel that.
We have another comment.
Yeah.
Lizzie also says, caring helps me feel hope.
Isn't that interesting? Now, why would caring make you feel hope, Elizabeth?
Well, doesn't it go hand in hand with confidence? You feel more confident in the future.
Yes, and you feel supported in the present, that there's somebody out there who actually cares about you. And it is so sad how many people don't feel cared about, don't feel cared about by their spouse, don't feel cared about by their boss, don't feel cared about by their political party, or You know, and then you look at it and there's so much corruption and you know it. And it makes us kind of sad.
Mm-hmm.
So let's feel for a moment some moment in our lives where we felt genuinely cared about. If we have such a moment in our lives, I hope you have.
Well, there's another thing that comes to mind to me. That when somebody does an act of caring that gives to us, that fulfills a need, we feel like a need is being met, that our needs are somehow being met.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was a child and I had outgrown a cheap beginner's trumpet, my mother cared enough about me to see to it that she bought a really nice trumpet so that I could have a much more positive experience of playing the trumpet. So that met a need. Without that, I would have just been limping along.
Yeah. And you can feel the genuineness or the hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
So let's feel other moments where we really genuinely felt cared about and see if you're not more relaxed when that happens. That there is a warm blanket around you, that warm blanket of caring.
Mm.
When you have somebody who is coming and fixing your house, for example, and they don't seem to care, you know, it makes you angry. You feel like, oh, they don't really care. And contrast that with a moment where you felt cared about. Now, what about us? Us feeling
Here's another comment,
caring.
by the way. Lizzie says, I don't know if I feel hope, though I feel happy when feeling are because of all the things you already spoke of.
Good, so you feel happy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that's such an important point. When we were children, when we felt that somebody cared about us, we felt happy. We didn't feel used. A lot of kids have the experience of people who are demonstrating that they don't care about us, that they only care about themselves and their egos. Oh, I want you to do well at school so I can brag about it. I want you to do well at school so that you can get a scholarship. I want you to do well at school so I can look big, so I can look successful. Does any of that make you want to do well?
No.
No, it really doesn't. It makes you feel used and abused. So, what is it that you can identify as something where you actually feel cared about? Like a boss who really cares about your health during the coronavirus, or who really cares about your income during the coronavirus, or, you know, your well being during the coronavirus. You can feel that. Now, does that make you uncomfortable, or does it make you happy? Some of us are so not used to that we're suspicious. We can't believe that anybody really cares about us. And then we go down the tubes. Even though there are people who actually are caring about us.
Here's another comment. This is from Omil. What about those people who actually care, but they don't outwardly show it since they are less emotionally mature?
Oh, that is such a good question. I think that you're not impacted unless you can feel it. The person may genuinely care about you, but if they don't show that caring, it doesn't come to you. There's no energy of caring. It's too suppressed. And isn't that interesting that there are some people who cannot do that, who cannot show their caring? And so you always wonder, and you're left with, I wonder if they really care. And so it's a double-edged sword, right? Because on the one hand, there are people who are too busy protecting their egos and they really don't care. They're really trying to prove something about themselves. And then there's the people who are kind of shy and really do care but don't know how to express it.
Before we go on to the next comment, I've heard you talk about a distinction between love and caring. Would you say something about that? Because that might help with this question you were just addressing.
I have talked about.
Yes, indeed. That love is a feeling and a sentiment, but caring is typically an action. It's a reaching out to do something or show something, show the love, show the caring for another person.
That's a really good point, James, because people can feel like they are loved, but if they're not cared about, then they're still lacking something really crucial that makes them feel well, that makes them feel whole, that makes them feel safe. It's not enough for somebody to love me. If they don't care about me, then I feel alone and that I have to fight for myself.
Okay. And now we have another comment here. This one's from Kat. I felt cared about when I had a heart attack by my wife, and seeing my aunt and uncle running down the hallway to see me as I was being whisked away to surgery, plus the cardiac team while I was in surgery, and the ICU for recovery.
And do you feel, Kat, that caring had an impact on you? Didn't it give you the strength? If you care about me, then maybe I'm worth something. So it gives you the strength to fight for yourself when you feel cared about. It's like, oh, I am worth caring about, and that's a really great thing. So I think that's another absolutely terrific example. Any more examples? If not at the moment, and maybe more will come in, we can talk about how it feels when we don't feel cared about, or it looks like we have another one.
Oh, Todd says, I'm getting the following message. Sorry, we're having trouble playing the video.
Really? I don't think that anybody else seems to be having that problem. So if anyone else is having that problem, please let us know.
Right.
Because we do everything we can to reach out and make this work, because we care about our audience. We care how our audience feels. We care about people feeling like we care about them. That we try to help, that we try to stand up for people, that we try to care, to give people that sense of being cared about. And when we don't feel cared about, we shrivel up and die, because we lose that sense of our own value, our value to others. Anything else that people would like to talk about tonight about caring, about feeling cared about or not feeling cared about, or feeling caring? When we are caring towards others, something happens to us. We feel powerful. We feel big. when you go into that place of not caring, what happens, James?
Well, then I feel smaller. I shrink.
That's right.
That's why I call it contraction.
That's right. And that's not a good feeling. So it's so important for us to care for others and to feel like we're doing something of value to help people out.
Something else I'd like to add.
Yes.
That title, Why Caring Counts. When it's just one person, it's one, you're isolated, alone, and separate. But when you care about somebody else, now it's two. And so when you have a plurality like that, there's a greater strength, empowerment, and all the things we've been talking about.
That's absolutely true. I think that a lot of minorities do not feel cared about. Maybe people are scared of them fighting back. Maybe people feel sorry for them. Maybe people feel kind of like superior to them. That is not the same as caring. I see you. I see your value. And I care about you. And I want you to be well. And I want you to do well. And I want you to flourish. My God, that is a caring. And I'm not going to compete with you. When I'm competing with you, I am not caring. I am busy caring about my ego.
We have a message from Jose. He says, "Hi, Mama and Papa. God bless you so much." Thank you, Jose, and God bless you.
Thank you. That's a caring. So yes, when we talk about social issues, when we talk about rural Americans, or we talk about Black Americans, or we talk about women or trans people, or even white men, right? We need to project to everybody that we care about them and that we want what's for their highest good. And sometimes that isn't just giving in to what they think they want and need, but to care enough about a person to tell them the truth about what you see, and to offer them what you honestly believe they need. My goodness, that can change a generation. I think the beautiful thing about the recent demonstrations about racism and Black Lives Matter and all of these others is that so many people who were not Black or not Hispanic or not Muslim came out in the street and say, I care about you because I see you. I see your value and I want to help you. Not just help you in the sense of, oh, I'm going to do something for you, but I want you to know that I truly care about what happens to you. So this caring, as you were talking about, James, it goes from the child that wants to feel cared about by their parents, so that if, for example, they come home with a bad report card, if the parents are even alert and alerted to that, that they know that the parents care about them more than their report card, and they want to know, gee, why aren't you flourishing? Why aren't you doing well? To husbands and wife, really, or partners, really caring about one another and wanting what is best for the other person without competing with scarce resources, to all the way to Black Lives Matters. People need to know that everybody cares about them, and that will help give them the strength to fight for what they need and to fight for themselves. So we better close now. I want to remind you that Thursday night, which is tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific time, I play the piano. And I play the piano because I care. And I want to spread the energy of love and peace to everybody. So please tune in 7 p.m. tomorrow Pacific time. That's Thursday or later on. And every Wednesday night we have Granny Rocks. So I care, I truly care about my audience, and that's why I continue no matter what. to try to bring these programs to you. And I know that you care about me. Many of you care about me. Not just what I do for you, but you feel me. You feel compassion for me. And you care. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.